Hey everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Doing a mobile call today on a 2020 Buick Encore all-wheel drive. Apparently it's powered by a 3-cylinder turbo, 1.3 liter, and customer complaint is, well, it drives fine, but the check engine light has been on for over a month. And she wants to do a road trip, she wants to diagnose, and hopefully repaired. So let's scan it for codes, see where this one goes. It could be anything. Alright, after a quick code scan with the TOPDON Phoenix Plus, we see in the engine control module we have two current codes. EVAP Purge Pump System Performance and EVAP Purge System Pressure Sensor Performance. So two codes. Let me save this in a report, and we have to do some research. I don't know what a purge pump is. This is must be some kind of newfangled EVAP system. So first things first, on an unfamiliar system, we must do research. So on AllData, here is the EVAP system for this Buick Encore. And here are the components: fuel tank, charcoal canister, and this thing right here, 15, is evaporative emissions purge pump. Okay, and there is our purge solenoid. That's number 16. So everything's familiar except for this purge pump, and that's what the code is setting for. Again, we can read the description and operation. Let me get to the part where it says something about the fuel or the purge pump. Valve leak test, large leak test, vent restriction test, small leak test. Here, just read about the components. Purge pump. So purge capacity is being reduced by technologies which improve fuel economy. So basically engine vacuum is reduced. Overall it's a turbo engine. So this G58 evaporative emissions purge pump is used to purge stored vapors from the EVAP canister and is required to increase the purge volumes to meet LEV3 EVAP emissions requirements. The pump is an integral pressure sensor for controlling purge vapors from the canister. Okay, so that's handy to know. Now let's look up the actual code descriptions and see if we can, look at live data and see if there's anything wrong. Alright, so first trouble code that's set is a P146B. We have 146B and 146F. So 146B is EVAP Purge Pump System Performance, and we're just interested in the conditions for setting the DTC. EVAP Purge Pump pressure not within a calibrated range for range greater than 5 seconds. Okay, calibrated range, we don't know exactly what that is, but if we go down to system testing, right here it says verify the following scan tool parameters are within the specified range. EVAP Purge Pump Pressure Sensor 1.1 to 1.4 volts and Fuel Tank Pressure Sensor 1.3 to 1.7 volts. So that's the default state, looks like, at atmosphere when the system is just open, just sitting. And then they want to check for restrictions. So these right here, these numbers are absolutely key. Let's look up the second code, 146F, Purge System Pressure Sensor Performance. Okay, this is calling out the pressure sensor in this purge pump. Within the G58, within that purge pump. So conditions for setting the DTC. So if we have the 6D code, it's low voltage. 6E code, high voltage. 6F, not within a calibrated range. So what is this calibrated range? Again, we're back to the 1.1 to 1.4 volts. Let's just look at live scan data, see what the voltage is on this pressure sensor that's built into the purge pump. By the way, let's just do a quick visual inspection to identify these components. So here is the purge line coming in from the canister. this is our purge pump. You can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wire connector. And then we have another hose coming from the pump to the purge solenoid, and then that is connected to the intake, actually to the atmosphere side before the turbocharger or the throttle body. Here's the air intake, mass airflow sensor. That purge solenoid is sitting right there. That's the turbo. Where is the throttle body? It's this right here. Okay, so the purge, looks like the purge vapors are drawn in right before the turbo. So when, this is at atmosphere, so obviously this pump helps pump the purge vapors into this side right here. This is not connected to the intake manifold. It's just connected to the fresh air side of the turbo. Interesting. Alright, so in the ECM live data, we want EVAP data. Let's see what's available. So the key is on, and what are we interested in? This purge pump. So there's purge pump command, purge pump supply, solenoid valve, fuel tank pressure sensor. Let's look at that. And where is the, look at the map sensor, why not? Filtered EVAP purge pump pressure sensor. Okay. Command, pump speed, pressure sensor, pressure sensor. Let's see. So 6.74 psi, that seems high. 0.6 volts, not sure. 0.8 psi or minus 0.8 psi. 1.4 in the fuel tank pressure sensor. So fuel tank pressure sensor seems to be fine. Oh. Map. So these EVAP purge pump pressure sensor 6.7 psi. See, it's in red, so that should be close to 0 volt or 0 psi. So that's, I don't like that. And the pressure sensor is reading 0.6 volts. I don't like that. It should be 1.1 to 1.4. So let's look at the wiring diagram and check the supply voltage and the ground for the sensor and see if the sensor is bad inside this purge pump. That's probably the most likely thing. One quick check I want to do since we're right here. 0.6 volts is 6.7 psi. I'm just going to unplug this bulk connector on the purge pump and see what those readings do if I unplug it. So it's 0 and 6 psi. Okay, unplug it back in. 0.7, 6.8 psi. So this should be closer to 1.5 volts, I guess, and that should be closer to 0 psi. Let's look at the wiring diagrams. Alright, so I found the wiring diagram for this EVAP emissions purge pump. Here's our pressure sensor. There's the actual pump motor. So pins 1, 2, and 3 are going to be the signal, ground, and 3 is the white and red 5 volt reference. Let's just do a couple quick voltage checks on the sensor. We can manipulate the voltage right at the connector. Look at the live scan data, make sure that all the wiring is good, the computer is good, and if this sensor is misreporting, it's going to need a whole new EVAP emissions purge pump. Alright, so at this connector, pin 3 is going to be 5 volt reference. Sure enough, that is there. And the signal wire, so right now, if we go to the signal wire, it will show 0 volts. That's what the scan data is showing. Let's just verify that with our meter. Never trust scan data. Always verify the actual raw voltage. So let's do that. Yep, 7 millivolts. Now let's try to manipulate the signal of on the signal wire and see if scan data responds. I want to see what is equivalent to 0 psi. And for that, we'll need a variable resistor. So this is just a potentiometer. We can hook it up instead of that pressure sensor, dial it in, and see if we can get that voltage to whatever, 1.5. Maybe that'll be 0 psi. Alright, so this is working beautifully. I dialed the signal voltage down to 1.2 volts, which agrees with scan data. So the wiring is perfect. Everything's good. This pressure sensor is definitely messed up. So, but look at the value right here. This is a little more interesting. Let me set this up so there's no glare. I want you guys to see the two numbers right here. 1.2 volts and 7.47 psi. So it looks like as I dial up the resistance, it's going to increase the voltage. 1.3 volts is 0 psi. So this sensor is not supposed to see any vacuum whatsoever. If the voltage drops below 1.3, it's going to give you a goofy number. Now, as we go above 1.3 volts, we start going to positive pressures now. So 1.4, 1.5, let it stabilize. 2.2, see there's 1 psi on there. 2.6, 2.9, 3.3, all the way up to about 3.9 is a few psi. So this, go a little bit higher, 4.5. So maximum 3.75 psi, so we know the range of the sensor, and it's not supposed to read less than 1.2 volts. Right there, that's the limit. So let's plug it back in. So this is the car, 0.7 volts. This thing's busted. Needs a new EVAP purge pump, which is ridiculous. It's stupid. But you have to buy this entire thing for a bad pressure sensor reading for your emissions system to be happy. That's a diagnosis. We'll give the customer a quote, or they'll stop by the local shop here and they can pop that in. It doesn't look too awfully difficult. So that's kind of what you run into with new cars. More technologies, more stuff to break. And we proved that in 5 years. This purge pump is toast. So that's it. We'll do a follow-up once the car is fixed up.